All right, everybody, welcome to New Media Patriot Radio, the show about you, the concerned citizen, the silent majority, the politically incorrect, the social media patriot fighting every single day to restore American values and exceptionalism. You can follow me on Twitter at ThePatriot143 or at NMP Radio. And if you want to get your voice heard and you want to be a guest on the show, you can email us at newmediapatriot@gmail.com. You can also listen to us via Spreaker. Just go to Spreaker and look for New Media Patriot Radio. Listen to us there. You can also chat with us right there, right on Spreaker. And I'd like to also say that we are now being syndicated via ICRN. It's the new home for Conservative Talk Radio. Visit them today at conservativeradionetwork.com. They have a whole slew of other shows there that you will find pretty interesting. And we are also being syndicated via rebootingliberty.com. I am your host, Cris, and the number to call is 347-338-1775. Also, visit our website. Don't forget to do that, newmediapatriotradio.com. We are actively looking for bloggers. If you are a blogger a political blogger who wants to get your some exposure with some of your writings, whatever, just drop me an email at newmediapatriot@gmail.com. So today's going to be interesting. We're going to have an awesome show here. I mean, the phone lines are already jam-packed, so it's going to be it's going to be an interesting show. But Donald Trump had an incredible set of victories on Super Tuesday 2.0. I mean, he had victories in North Carolina, Illinois, Missouri, Florida. I mean, Missouri was pretty tight there. It was a nail biter. But he basically, if you look at it, Donald Trump now has effectively swept the South. And we're going to be talking about that with my polling expert, as he's known by his followers on Twitter. He's going to be co-hosting with me today. His name is Bill Mitchell. How you doing, Bill? Welcome to the Silent Majority.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the show. I heard you last night. I was listening to the Wayne Dupree show, and the show was awesome, by the way. And it was fun because I don't really watch mainstream media because I just don't anymore. The only time I watch videos of mainstream media is when I see it on Breitbart or any of the websites. I'll see the clip, whatever. But listening to you guys, I mean, I was basically getting the play-by-play. It was awesome, and I just want to compliment you guys on the job that you did there last night.
Thanks. Yeah, it was fun. We didn't get very many call-ins because people were watching the returns. But it gave us a chance to sort of just talk and kind of paint a picture for everybody of what was going on, and cut up on Cruz and Kasich and all those guys occasionally. So it was a lot of fun. We had a good time.
Awesome. Well, before we get to, I want to take a couple phone calls, but before we get to that, I also want to say at 7:20, I'm also going to have Gavin Mitchell, no relation to Bill Mitchell, who has a radio show on ICRN as well, and he's also on the AM station in Texas. He's going to be coming on at 7:20, and then at 7:40, I'm going to have Ken Barten. He was on the ground during Trump's rally in St. Louis, where they had a bunch of protesters there. Soro, MoveOn.org funded protesters were there. He's going to come on. He took some interesting videos. He's going to give us a play-by-play as to what really happened down there. But anyway, before we go any further into what happened last night, let me just pick up a call right now. I want to pick up Liz from Massachusetts. Welcome to the Silent Majority.
Hello.
Hi, Liz.
Thank you for taking my call.
Oh, you're welcome. You have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. As far as Kasich goes, from what I've been reading and what I understand, he doesn't have any chance. He doesn't have enough remaining delegates for him to even pull off a victory. It's mathematically impossible for him to win, according to what I read, 1,237 delegates. So I just don't understand. Aren't there any rules or set forth for someone? Why is he even staying in the race when it's impossible for him to win?
I'm going to let Bill Mitchell handle this one. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah. Yeah. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get to the convention and have Donald Trump get there with less than 1,200, I believe it's 1,237 delegates, which would be a majority. If they can do that, then they can do what's called a contested convention, where all this sort of horse trading starts going on, and they can sort of, as opposed to following the will of the people, they can just sort of select, have the delegates get together and select a candidate. And that's what Kasich is hoping for, that by hanging in there long enough, he can deny Trump enough delegates to force a contested convention. And then what happens is that he goes there with his delegates, and he may not be the choice of the people there to be the candidate, but because he has those delegates to give, he has some power, and he can maybe say, well, I want to be the vice president, or I want this, or I want that, or I want to be in your cabinet. So if he has the money to hang in there, he has absolutely nothing to lose by staying in the race. I mean, he's kind of, people will think he's a jerk, maybe, but I know Cruz supporters will think he's a jerk, but he's actually helping Trump because he's dividing the opponents into smaller groups, so it makes it easier for Trump to get the majorities in various states, so we can get most of the delegates. So it's actually to Trump's benefit that he's there. Yeah.
Now, there's a difference between a contested convention and a brokered convention, right, Bill? There's a difference between a brokered and a contested. Am I right?
Yeah, I think it's, I'm not an expert on that. I think it's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
No, I just thought that a contested convention was between the two candidates that were, entering the convention with the most delegates, and then they basically, fight it out, and then a brokered convention.
I think it's kind of the same thing. I'm not an expert on these things.
Okay.
But I think it's basically the same thing.
Awesome.
It works for the same thing. If somebody knows more about that, please call in and tell us.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Liz. Thanks for calling the Silent Majority.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay.
All right, so
I think they're sort of the same thing.
Okay, now I want to pick up this Ohio call. It's Pam from Ohio. Welcome to the Silent Majority here on New Media Patriot Radio.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm just amazed by politics of today. I mean, here we have Donald Trump, who's actually killing it. He's the top runner, and we don't see the Republican Party coalescing around the front runner. Now, we loyal Republican voters, I went out and voted for my same Republicans yesterday against their primary opponents. And here today, I see Rob Portman, endorsing. I didn't know he endorsed Kasich, who at the last CNN debate, he promised the illegal immigrants, those who can't vote, that within 100 days as President of the United States, he will legalize them. Now, I don't get this. The only ones who can vote are we, the U.S. citizens. But yet every time we've gone and voted, like John McCain, I voted for John McCain because he was our only pick. The Republican establishment picked him. I went out and voted for him, even after he tried to shove amnesty down our throats for foreign people, illegal immigrants, with Ted Kennedy. And then here, the last time was Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney, we all started supporting him because he said he would enforce our immigration laws. Right. But then after he said self-deport, all he said was, how are you going to, they asked him, how are you going to deport these millions of foreign nationals, stomping and trespassing all of the rights of your U.S. citizens? And all he said was, well, we'll do this and this, so they'll self-deport. Well, the Republican establishment really vilified him. You can't say that. We have to cater to these foreign people who can't vote. Now we've got Donald Trump, who's made it clear to the American people, all the American people, I will stand up for your sovereign rights. I will deport illegal immigrants. These foreign people, millions of them, not a couple thousand, millions, who have been here forever, 20, 30 years since the 1986 Simpson-Mozzoli amnesty. See, the American people are fed up with all these promises from the Republican Party. I won't vote Democrat. They hate Americans. Hillary Clinton's a criminal. Well, but I want to be able to continue to support the Republican Party. But how can we when they seem to be clear? I mean, here's John Boehner out there today endorsing. He says he endorses Paul Ryan for President of the United States. Americans, wake up.
They're pulling, Pam, they're pulling all the stops. And later on in the show, if we have time, I'm going to touch on that. We're going to touch on this meeting, this secret meeting that's supposed to take place on Thursday. And also we're going to be talking about the comment that one of the, I believe it was, Curly, Hogland came out. He came out and he basically said that we don't choose the president, that they do. Basically, they choose a nomination. They choose a nominee. So we're going to talk about that later on. So stick around.
Great,
you said a mouthful. There's nothing else to be said.
I'm sorry I'm angry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry I'm so angry.
You deserve to be. Don't worry about it. Take care. Thank you for calling.
Thank you. Bye bye.
So there you have it.
I think that what is happening here, Donald Trump isn't the only guy in the world that knows how to negotiate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these guys know how to negotiate too, and what they're doing is by doing all this saber rattling and talking about all this extreme stuff. Okay, they're trying to stake out the most extreme position. So when it comes down to actually negotiating this thing with Trump, they have some give and take too.
Right.
Okay, they can give up some things in the negotiation they never really wanted in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that what will happen is we're going to, I've done the math. They're acting like it's almost impossible for Trump to get to 1237. I think it's going to be relatively easy. I mean, there are 12 states, as far as I can tell, coming up that are either winner take all or district take all.
Mm-hmm.
Not winner take all for the whole state, but you take all for district. And look at Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
Missouri, Trump won that state by 1,700 votes. Okay, barely. Out of a million votes cost 1,700 votes. And you would think, it's a proportional state. That means they're going to divide the delegates in half. Actually, not true at all. The way it works in Missouri is if you win the state, you get 12 delegates, and then they give you 5 delegates per congressional district. There are 8 congressional districts, and Trump won, I believe, 6. So when all the smoke clears, Trump is going to get about 42 delegates out of the 52 for the state. Almost a winner-take-all situation. And you're like, well, how is that possible? Or 80% of the delegates. How is that possible, if the race was almost high? It's because all of Cruz's votes were packed into 2 little urban areas.
Right.
Okay? And Trump carried the rest of the state. Trump was brought across the rest of the state. So Cruz's votes were all packed into 2 little districts, and Trump carried the rest of the districts.
Right.
If you project that going forward, Trump only needs to carry about 55 to 58% of delegates going forward to win the nomination outright.
Right.
And if you project that going forward, there are many states where Trump can, repeat the same thing.
Right.
Where he can get 80, 90% of the delegates in the state. So I think he makes it easily, personally.
Right. You're listening to the Silent Majority here. The number to call is 347-338-1775. Mark just sent me a message. He said a brokered is just another term. It's called an open convention. It's all the same thing. I just thought it was different. But anyway, let's move on here. Let's talk about Florida real quick before I get to some more calls. The call, I'm going to get to all the callers. Just please stand by, be patient. I'm going to get to you guys, and ladies. Let's talk about Florida, how important Florida was, because it's basically a microcosm of the United States. Because if you think about it, there is a lot of transplants that live in Florida. There is a lot of Hispanics from all over the states. You get a lot of Hispanics from Cuba and Puerto Rico that live there, but you also get a lot of retired transplants from all over the country. So Donald Trump's win, if you think about it, it's a lot bigger than some might think. It's huge, I think, because it's basically a microcosm of the United States going forward. With the rest of the primaries, I think it bodes well for him. What do you think about that, Bill?
Oh, very much so. I mean, he did so well that the governor endorsed him the next day.
Right.
For the day. I thought it was kind of a nice safe endorsement. You wait till the guy wins your state menu.
I found that odd.
Right?
I found that odd though. Like I saw that just now before I went on the air, and I said, why didn't he do that? The day before or a couple days before, but he did.
I'll tell you why. Because he said specifically he didn't want to endorse the day before because he wanted the will of the people to be heard without his undue influence, which I can understand that. That's fine.
Right.
But we'll take the endorsement, and that's going to stick through the general. And that's a major blow to the establishment because when a